Hello, welcome in. Hope everyone's doing well today. Today's gonna be a bit of a shorter stream, because I'm just gonna do the Kirby stuff and call it for today, which is gonna be tier listing and just kind of chatting about things. Because today is the finale. It's been half a year, and this is where it's led us. So, Azrael, welcome in. Hope you're doing well today. Hello Ray as well, welcome in. But yeah, it's been insane. It's been a journey. I am perfectly aware. He enjoys himself there, so. But yeah, today is the big day. Today's it. Today's the finale. Okay, now that this is switching videos, let's make sure that the audio sticks around so it's not blasting our ears out. Alright, there we go. I put together a playlist of a bunch of Kirby songs in order, sort of. So we just finished up the Kirby's Dream Land songs and now we're into Kirby's Adventure, stuff like that. But yeah, hello Star, welcome into you as well. Yeah, no, this has actually been an insane journey to go on. Because, let's face it, Kirby is an amazing series, don't get me wrong. But when it gets down to it, it's very simple. Which I think is part of its charm. But just like, it's been such a journey playing every Kirby game from the start to the finish. There's not a Kirby game that I have not played a version of. So, well, today's plan is I'm going to be doing some tier lists. I'm going to be doing a tier list of all the games, personally, in my opinion. As well as a tier list of all the abilities. Kirby Elflin fan, thank you for the follow. I don't know why it's not showing up. Oh, you know what it is? I was having issues today with, my, browser sources. So, that might be fucky. Give me just a sec. Copy the link. We'll try that. But yeah, so honestly, thank you all so much for coming with me on this journey throughout the past like 6 months. It's been an insane it's been an insane time, but we're not quite done. I was talking about this in the Discord with some people. Kirby is not gonna just disappear from my channel. I enjoy the series too much. Hello Harris, welcome in, hope you're doing well today. But I definitely need a break. There's been so much Kirby. I've already mentioned before that I want to do some challenge runs. I want to, for example, play Kirby and the Forgotten Land ability lists. Yeah, no, I think at this point, Kirby's a mainstay for me. 29, needs Kirby Star Allies, not great. Yeah, I 100%ed Kirby Star Allies. That's the other thing. I want to start 100%ing some of these games that I have. Like, obviously, the older games are gonna be a bit more difficult. Like, for example, Planet Robobot, I've already 100%ed, but the save file on my PC doesn't have close to that. But I might just at some point go through and just do all the arenas. Because I was thinking about it, and I do kind of want to just do a boss rush. I want to do a boss rush of every arena. Well, all the main arenas, I should say. Well, the main quote-unquote true arenas. Get through all of the very difficult boss fights. Play through every last one of them. I think like that would be a lot of fun. But like I said, I need a break. I'm gonna do something else for a bit. I'm going to I'm not gonna like push myself to get into that sort of stuff. I'm just gonna keep doing me and seeing where it goes. Cause I know that Kirby is a huge thing for me, and I don't want to worsen that. I don't want to get bored of the series. You know? So I'm gonna take a short breaksy from the game series. But it will come back at some point. Desert Heroes, which I don't know if that's the last area. Gonna be the finale tomorrow. Nice. This is gonna be a shorter stream, like I said. I'm just gonna do this tier list stuff, and then I'm gonna call it for today. But it's gonna be a lot. I'm gonna be chatting a lot about stuff, and I'm just gonna be doing a bunch of stuff like that. So, without further ado. Oh yeah, no, absolutely. The Star Allies track is amazing. Where is there it is. So, all the games. Actually, let's. Apologies, YouTube chat. Oh, hello. I am big. Nyom. I'm actually gonna get into that sort of stuff eventually. Alright, here we have a tier list. This is for all the games. A Dark Forbidden Land. Fiery. Yeah. Kaiju? What about Kaiju? Oh, yeah, by the way, Azrael, congratulations, you were the first one to stream. Thank you. Alright. So, starting from the top, Kirby's Dream Land, right? Just base Kirby's Dream Land. If I can find it, there it is. I'm not gonna lie, it's very... Oh, god, yeah. Kirby's Dream Land was fun, but I don't think it was amazing. It was incredibly short. It was hard. A lot of what makes Kirby is the abilities, though, and I feel like because this one didn't have abilities, it didn't feel as big. Let me, there we go. So that's just kind of that. Kirby's Adventure. This one was good. And I'm gonna put, Nightmare in Dreamland mixed in with it. This one was pretty good. Introduced abilities. There's a lot going on. But, shut up, AMD. I have to just put this in okay. I cannot get out of my head a clip on my channel go to channel, there we go. Yeah, I'm gonna grab this clip and show you why I am putting Adventure at okay instead of higher. The game itself was really good. Don't get me wrong. The game was really good. But Fuck that. Hi, dragon. Welcome in. Yeah. You are, because I'm showing a clip from when I was playing Kirby's Adventure. All the fucking progress. For reference, that 100% file was not mine. That is a file that is built into the Nintendo's emulators. Not only did it crash after the incredibly precise boss fight, I lost the entire game's worth of progress. Let's watch that again. Fuck that. You have to beat that before hitting the ground. Yeah. That hurt. And that is why I am putting Kirby's Adventure at okay. Nothing to do with issues with the game itself. Entirely to do with what happened in that clip. That mixed with the fact that, let's face it. It's a decent game, but the fucking precision for the final boss is so bullshit. Anyway. Moving on from Kirby's Adventure, we get Kirby's Dream Land 2. Why are there so many bads? What the hell? Let me... delete row. Delete row. Delete row. I'll delete this one as well because I've played all of them. So I'm putting best of the best, the really good ones, the okay ones, the bad ones, and the extra bad ones. Alright? Alright. So Kirby's Dream Land 2. Yeah, no, I just... having... Okay, in order to get the heart drops... They felt like they didn't have enough bad and just added a few more. Yeah. Like, Kirby's Dream Land 2, the game was fun, right? I had enough fun with it. But the shit you had to do to get the heart drops, just, why? Why? There's so much you just didn't need there. It sucked. And I'm just gonna do this now. I'm gonna jump slightly ahead. I'm going to say the exact same thing about Kirby's Dream Land 3. The game was good. I liked the ending fights, but the stuff you needed to do to actually get the you know, to get the what was it in that one? Rainbow drops. There we go. There was so much you had to do there that just, yeah. I'm gonna rename some of these. Like, I don't think any of the Kirby games are, like, bad. Except for one, which I will get to that. There we go. These are my, and this way I can zoom in as well. These are my opinions, and these are my stuff. So, up next, we've got Kirby Superstar and Kirby Superstar Ultra. I think these are amazing. Granted, I'm likely a little bit biased because Superstar Ultra was my first Kirby game. But personally, which is funny because that's the music we're listening to right now. Marks. They were really good. There was a lot to them. It didn't feel like, there was really much missing. Superstar Ultra introduced, putting that ahead of that. Superstar Ultra introduced, the Meta Nightmare mode, as well as, Return of the King. And Marks being a character, absolutely loved that. It was just overall an amazing game. Gourmet Race as well. Like, there was a lot to it that was just amazing. I absolutely loved it. It was probably... It was one of my favorites out of this series. Alright, up next, Kirby 64. I'm putting that up with Kirby's Dream Land. It had the same issues as Kirby's Dream Land 2 and 3. However, I feel like the actual game itself was better. Right? Like, the level design was better, the boss fights were better, the music was phenomenal, which I think that has a huge leg up on Dreamland 3 and 2, but it did start to run into the same issues as Dreamlands 2 and 3 with, in order to get the crystal shards, you needed to have specific ability sets, which you needed to carry through the levels, and just overall, it was a bit rough. For example, you can watch Philboat's playthrough on, getting to the main final boss, like the big final boss, 02, and you'll see that same sort of frustration of you need to carry frankly unintuitive levels through, or unintuitive, abilities through levels that are made to kill it. So, that mixed with one level where you need to get an ability combination, and you can only get one of them in that level, and that one decides it wants to jump off the ledge after a second of being on screen. I'm gonna skip this one. That wasn't what I thought it was. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on Kirby 64. Going forward, we've got Kirby's Air Ride. I don't think I need to talk much about this. This is the one game that I am hoping for a remake or a sequel to. Period. That's it. Like, this is the one game that I have actual hopes that they will make something in the future with. I want Kirby Air Ride for the Switch 2, essentially. Granted, it is a spin-off game. It's not $300 worth. Because it's like maybe 5 minutes of stuff, and then you redo that 5 minutes. It's like Kirby's Dream Buffet. But, it's absolutely amazing. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot to it. Would be a lot of fun to play with friends. But, yeah. I just hope that they remake it at some point. Alright, up next, Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. I'm gonna put this in the pretty good category. Come on. Come on. Thank you. Ahead of Crystal Shards. You could tell it was designed for 4 players. You could tell. It was designed for 4 players. So playing it alone was a bit of a struggle. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Actual, like, gameplay, I prefer Crystal Shards. But overall, I think Amazing Mirror is better made. They're about tied for me. Let's put it that way. But Amazing Mirror, I think, has better gameplay. 64 has better music. That's my opinion. You can tell it was made for 4 players to play. So playing it alone was a bit difficult. Was a bit long-winded. Yeah, it's fun but confusing. Which is why I don't put it in Amazing. Oh, right, all the side games. I'll quickly run through those. Kirby Tilt and Tumble. Decent. Kirby's Avalanche. Decent. Kirby's Block Ball. Okay, I guess. Kirby's Dream Course. Pretty good. Pinball Land. Pretty good as well. And then Star Stacker is decent. Alright. That was a quick run through of all of those mini games, those side games from way back. That was my 3rd Kirby stream. I played all of those. Anyway, let's see. Up next, after Amazing Mirror, Canvas Curse. I'm gonna put these, this in okay, I guess. But they're going very bottom of that. Only because I did not care for the control scheme. That's it. The games were well made. The game's pretty good. But I just did not care for the control scheme. And I'm gonna jump ahead and put Rainbow Curse there as well. Well, Rainbow Paintbrush. Sorry, because that's... Rainbow Curse is the US release name. To me, they're okay. I would play them again if push came to shove, but I would rather play a lot of other games instead. That's all there is to it. I don't really have anything else to say other than I just didn't care for the control scheme. Squeak Squad. That game was amazing. The boss fight was a bit underwhelming. But I loved the mechanics of being able to combine abilities and combine food. I loved the ability to kind of combine stuff. And I loved the bubble ability and stuff like that. I think that was absolutely amazing. Story was funny. And it's heavily memed in the Kirby community. Thank you, Star. As for, you know, weakest final boss in the series, yeah. I could 100% see it. Because I struggled with a lot of final bosses through this playthrough. Squeak Squad is one of the few that I didn't struggle with at all. Because I feel like Squeak Squad is in that weird spot where games were getting easier, but designs weren't necessarily getting more complex. Because, like, you think back, Adventure, Dreamland, those games were difficult because they were a lot more precise. Games started getting a lot less precise. And Squeak Squad kind of lost because of that. But I enjoyed it. Yeah. Yeah, games used to be a lot more precise. There were a lot more precision controls. And so games started getting easier by allowing for more freedom of movement. And I feel like Squeak Squad was right in that good spot where it was less precise, but not necessarily more complex. So I think it lost out to that for a bit. Which I don't think it's that the game's fault, but I had more trouble with Daroche than I did with Dark Nebula. But Epic Yarn. This one I'm also putting in amazing. I had a shit ton of fun with Epic Yarn. Granted, motion controls not great for how I played it. Crunchy audio as well, but that is not a fault of the game. I seriously enjoyed Epic Yarn. It was a very nice, calm, relaxing game. It was very chill. And it was just a lot of fun. I don't know, there's not much for me to say about it. I didn't really have any issues with it. It was just chill and enjoyable. Mass Attack. Why? Let me play Kirby Squeak Squad. Yeah. Yeah. Just why? Why Mass Attack? Why does Mass Attack have to be a thing? Like, can we just agree that the game never happened? Worst game design I've seen is needing to essentially 100% a game in order to get to the final boss. Not a secret final boss, the actual final boss. The final boss world was locked behind needing to get the rainbow medal in every level in the game. Because, like, you go to Dreamland 3, Dreamland 2. Yes, you needed to collect something from every world. Not necessarily every level, but every world. And it was the only collectible in the game. But you could beat the game without it. Yeah, at least it's optional to get energy spheres. But Mass Attack, it was a requirement. It was a requirement to get the rainbow medals. And that is, to this day, the only Kirby game I have not beaten. I cannot be asked to go and collect all those rainbow medals. So, just why? Why? Though I will say, that was the last game that Sakurai himself directed. We move into the Kumazaki era of Kirby with Kirby's Return to Dreamland. I see why people say it's probably the best Kirby game. One of them, anyway. Return to Dreamland, it was very simplistic, right? They took what made Kirby Kirby and just said, here you go. Base experience. It's simple. We're not going too complex. The super ability gimmick was very simple. Yeah. It was just overall a really, really good game. Plus it introduced Bandana Waddle Dee, the goodest of boys. But one of the big things with it, Magolor. Like, Magolor as a character is so well done. Magolor is one of my favorite characters in the series. Just one of them. Not necessarily my favorite, but one of them. So, games that force you to play on the hardest mode for the good, best ending. I think that's fine, Azriel. As long as you can beat the game, not necessarily getting the best ending, but beat the game without having to go through the loops of playing everything incredibly difficultly. Hello, Oakliam, welcome in. And yes, I am aware I have a little something on my horn. Kirby's Return to Dreamland and Planet Robobot for 2D. Yep, I'm gonna get to Planet Robobot. But yeah, no, Return to Dreamland, I see why people hail it as one of the best Kirby games of all time. Triple Deluxe. It's pretty good. They were experimenting with 3D. I feel like the gimmick wasn't really there, though. The gimmick was very forgettable. So I wouldn't call it one of the best. I wouldn't call it amazing, but it was a pretty good Kirby game. I think this one kind of fits in between amazing and pretty good. But Triple Deluxe, it was setting up a lot of stuff. Let's put it that way. It liked to set up things. Because it was the first attempt at doing stuff with 3D, specifically like going into backgrounds and stuff like that. You could tell that they decided that they were going to not push the envelope. They changed the way bosses worked quite a bit. And so they said, alright, let's not push it. Oh, I just remembered. Pyrabit is in this game. Pyrabit ruins this game as part of it, because he spends so much time in the background. So much fucking time. Alright, Rainbow Curse we already talked about. Stands 90% in the background, yeah. Yeah. Planet Robobot. Planet Robobot is definitely one of the best Kirby games. To not liking it since it doesn't give you a fair warning in advance, and then it punishes you with play on the hardest mode, coward. The end via a bad ending or just an abrupt ending with no climax to it. Yeah, okay, then that one I could entirely see. It's when essentially, like, example, Kirby's Dream Land 3, right? You beat DDD, and it plays the ending. Yeah, you win. Question mark? If you didn't get all the rainbow drops. You beat the game, but it gave you something more to do, right? But if it doesn't go, if it, like, if you play through the game on an easier mode, and then it says, like, you get to the final boss and it doesn't really let you do it, that would be an issue, yeah. I would take issue with that. But yeah, Planet Robobot, definitely one of the best Kirby games. Soundtrack, absolutely amazing. I will say, Planet Robobot is the only Kirby game that actually has its soundtrack on Spotify. So you can actually listen to that soundtrack on Spotify, which I absolutely love. I loved the return of the Clockwork Stars. That was a huge plus to me. Bringing Star Dream being a Clockwork Star was a huge callback that I absolutely loved. As well as just essentially being able to control the halberd at the end, also leading to a callback on Crystal Shards, because the gameplay for the final fight was the same gameplay as in Crystal Shards. It was a 3D space that you were able to move around with and shoot things. So there were a lot of callbacks in the game that I absolutely loved. But Battle Royale. I'm gonna put this in decent. It wasn't a bad game by any means. Like, let me put it this way, right? Battle Royale was just a lot of mini games. It's very difficult to say, hey, here's a bunch of mini games, I don't like it. Because they're fun. They're fun mini games. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I don't feel like there was much, like, it was fun, but there wasn't a lot to it. Plus, that final fight was just complete bullshit, but that's beside the point. Well, I actually remembered, so while an ad plays on Twitch, I'm gonna grab a thing because I'm noticing that there's a game missing from down here. So I am going to grab that. Where is it? Also, the ad is not starting for some reason. I don't know. I am gonna find this. There it is. There we go. Please don't be a WebP. Nice to JPEG. Alright, let me... There we go. Now it's all set up. Alright. So. Yeah, no, talking a bit more about, Battle Royale. The minigames were fun. It was a nice kind of quick-paced game. Cause I had a gnome saved. Cause I was sending it to a friend. That's all that was. But yeah, Battle Royale, it was fun. There was a lot going on. It was quick-paced. But it didn't feel like there was much, you know? It didn't feel like anything going on was super important. The last fight was kind of BS. I don't know. There just wasn't much to it that felt very weighty. Right? Like, you take all these games in the series, and Battle Royale, I feel like it's lacking in content, but it's fun. By the way, I'm just gonna add a row above. And just put the 20th anniversary collection in there. Because it's the 20th anniversary collection. It has the original games in it. There's not, you know. But, yeah. After Battle Royale is Kirby Star Allies. It's a super easy game. No. It was a super easy game, don't get me wrong. I finished my base playthrough with 130 lives. It's really simple if you're just kind of collecting things along the way. But I feel like the fact that it's a love letter to everything Kirby, it works really well for that. Kirby as a series is kind of designed around friendship, right? The whole point of Kirby is that Kirby is friend. Everyone is friend. Let's all be friends and eat cake together, sort of thing. And Star Allies is the perfect... it's the perfect game for that. Because, let's face it, what's more Kirby than making friends with your enemies to defeat some eldritch horror and become friends with that, right? That's just Kirby in a nutshell. And so, Star Allies works as the perfect love letter to the entire Kirby series. So, it's one of the best in my opinion. Like, even removing the fact that it's easy, the game is fun. The game is fun, despite the fact it's easy. So, Super Kirby Clash. The game that canonized... microtransactions. That's pretty good. Yeah, no. Super Kirby Clash has microtransactions for gem apples. If you have played the Magolor epilogue and Return to Dreamland Deluxe, you will know that the Magolor in Super Kirby Clash is the same Magolor as the one in Return to Dreamland. Therefore, canonizing microtransactions in the Kirby universe. Also, hello, Izo. Welcome in. So, yeah. Kirby Fighters 2. I'm gonna put this one above Super Kirby Clash. Izzy, welcome in. I'm doing a tier list of all the Kirby games. Kirby Fighters 2, it was fun. It's falling into the same sort of category as Kirby Battle Royale for me, where it felt like it was lacking a lot of substance, but it was fun. I will say the ability to have the different abilities, having the tower to climb. Okay, yeah, no, I am gonna put that down in decent, because it is just Kirby Battle Royale, but a lot less variants. Yeah, Super Kirby Clash has microtransactions, which are, that game is canon to, the Kirby line. It is a canon game. You'll get stuff like Kirby's Pinball Land and Kirby's Epic Yarn, which aren't necessarily quote-unquote canon. They're side games, so they're not exactly canon. Epic Yarn was a bad example. Air Ride. Super Kirby Clash is canon, and it has microtransactions. So, yeah, no, Kirby Fighters 2, same issues as Kirby Battle Royale. That's all it is. Kirby's Blowout Blast. Yeah, no, same thing. It was a little side thing. Wasn't much to it. You could tell that they were experimenting with moving around in a 3D space. You could heavily see that. It was fun, but there wasn't much to it. Yeah. Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Best of the best. What can I say about it that's bad, right? Loved Mouthful Mode. That was a really cool thing. It was a first attempt at a 3D Kirby. Going and, it was pretty simple, but again, it was the first 3D Kirby game. Along with just overall, the music was phenomenal. The final boss was huge. The implications of the lore are gigantic. It's just overall one of the best games. And then finally, Dream Buffet. Again, same issues as Battle Royale and Fighters 2 and Blowout Blast. They're fun, but they don't have much. There's not much to them. So that's, yeah. This is my final tier list of all the Kirby games. Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna save this. Download. Please. Okay, it just downloaded it there. Awesome. Alright. That was my tier list of all the games. Now we move on to... Oh boy, this one's gonna take a bit. All of the abilities. A tier list of all of the abilities. Alright. So let's start. This one doesn't have an order, so I'm just gonna go in alphabetical. Because that's how it's laid out. Animal. It was the precursor to drill. Right? It was fun to use. It looked adorable. But I wouldn't call it one of my favorites. It's the cutest on Kirby. I don't think I could tier list those. Because let's face it, they're all incredibly cute. I'd put Animal in B tier. It's fairly average. I wouldn't say it's a bad ability. I wouldn't say it's a bad ability. But it wouldn't be one of my options to use on a normal basis. It's really all there is. Because from the standpoint of, like, Animal, right? You can dig with it. You can attack with it, like using swiping motions. It's overall pretty good, but it doesn't add a lot to combat, specifically. It has ways to defend itself, but it's not very combat-based. Archer. Archer's really good. I love Archer as an ability. Granted, I didn't use it much in my playthrough of Triple Deluxe and stuff like that. Archer is fun to use. But, you know. Artist. That's also going in A tier. I love its references to Adeline. Adeline, either way. I love that it's a healing ability, while also being a fairly combat-heavy ability as well. Just overall, it's pretty good. Backdrop. This was the precursor to Sumo. One of them, anyway. I'm putting it in D tier. You have to get really close to your opponent. They have to be small enough for you to grab. There's just not many instances where you're able to use it. That and it also came from a time where a lot of abilities were separated and led to the two of them not being great until they were combined. Balloon. Balloon was a canvas curse ability. I've already talked about how I don't care for canvas curse's control scheme. Balloon is the ultimate kind of collision of that, right? Balloon, essentially, you use the ability, you puff up, and just kind of float. It's only in Canvas Curse, because Kirby can do that on the norm in any other game, other than Rainbow Curse, but that's beside the point. So, just, it's decent, but, like, it's a decent ability for the game, but I don't know. I just don't really care for it because of the nature of how it is. Ball Kirby. I'm putting that same. It wasn't specifically Canvas Curse. I'm gonna turn up the music a bit because these tracks are a bit quiet. Ball Kirby. I know that there was a Ball Kirby in like a base game. I'm pretty sure there was a Ball Kirby in Adventure. But the controls for it, again, I didn't care for it. Let me double check. Ball Kirby. Kirby series debuting in Kirby's Adventure. I mean, yeah, it was just, you know, you turned into a ball and rolled around. I don't know. It didn't feel like there was a lot there. Granted, I will say it was probably, me not liking it is probably reminiscent of how Canvas Curse and Rainbow Curse got to me in terms of controls, but I don't know. I feel like just rolling around as a ball is personally. Beam attack. I'm putting that in B tier. It's gonna be at the upper end of B tier, but I'm putting it in B tier. It's fun. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy it. However, I feel like it's very B for beam. I feel like it's very weak. There's not a lot to it compared to a lot of these other abilities that have a lot of nuance, I guess, that I enjoy. It's difficult for me to explain why I don't like some of these over others. Beam attack, very much so. It's a good ability. I enjoy using it. But the vibes aren't there for me. You know what I mean? Like, if I were given beam and sword, I would take sword. If I was given beam and bomb, I would take bomb. It just, for me, beam gets overshadowed by a lot of things. That doesn't mean it's a bad ability. I do enjoy using it, but I'm putting it in B because it's something that gets fairly overshadowed a lot, in my opinion. Beetle, C tier. It fits under the sumo category, where you have to be up close, and it has, like, its nuance is in being able to pick up enemies, and if you can't pick up the enemy, well, you're kind of out of luck. But Beetle also has the sword-like attack, which kind of raises it a bit. Bell. I'm putting Bell in A tier. I love the clings. I love the cling clangs. Ton of fun to use. But the invincibility as well with the guarding. Shit ton of fun. But I wouldn't call it one of the best abilities. Like, I wouldn't call it S tier. It's definitely top tier, but not S tier. S tier I'm saving for very specific abilities. For example, Bomb. I'm putting Bomb in S tier. Bomb is, in my opinion, one of the absolute best abilities. When you can commit terrorism on Planet Popstar using bombs and just keep chucking them at things, Bomb is just incredibly powerful. I absolutely love it. Bubble. I'm gonna try and run through some of these as well. I'm gonna speed run, quote unquote, them. Because there are a lot of them here. Is that Sumo? I think that's Sumo. I can't tell. Bubble. B tier. We only have it for Squeak Squad, which is because the gimmick of Squeak Squad was the touchscreen. You could combine things in bubbles. I'd love to see Bubble make a comeback in some way. Hell, make it an upgrade of water. Right? Take the water ability, make Bubble the upgrade of it. I feel like that would be really cool, and that would be a good way to put Bubble into the mainline games for the future. But because it doesn't have a lot of variants, it's not going to be one of the top tiers. It's fairly average. I just enjoyed using it. I hope it comes back at some point. Burning. D tier at best. Burning was before they combined it into fire. It was just a movement ability. That's all it really was. So there wasn't much to it.
Lamp oil, robe, bombs, it's yours, my friend, as long as you have enough rupees.
Yep. Hello, music. Yes, I am still watching. Thank you. But yeah, Burning, before it was combined into fire, it was just a movement ability. You couldn't stand still, which means if there was an enemy over a pit, you needed to fly over that pit. Decent for movement, but overall just a kind of shit ability. Circus. I do not like Circus. I'm gonna actually put it there. I'm putting it in E tier. Why is E tier a thing? Everything else goes S, A, B, C, D, F. There's no E. Why did that have E? Anyway, I'm putting Circus in F tier. All of its attacks require you to move around way too fucking much. It's way too sporadic of movement, too. It feels very inconsistent. My own personal opinion. I know that there are a ton of Circus defenders around. I just don't like it. My gameplay style is not going to be the same as another person's gameplay style. So that's just how it is. For my gameplay style, Circus does not fit. Cleaning. A tier. The ability itself is fairly weak. But if we're taking the Star Allies version of cleaning, I absolutely fucking love the references to the Dream Friends. Rake, Kine, Ku, Naga, Pitch, and Choo Choo all have a reference in the cleaning ability, and I fucking love it. Never played a Kirby game in my life unless Kirby's Dream Course counts. It's a side game. It's not a mainline game. But I completely see, yeah. I would consider it a pseudo Kirby game. It's in the Kirby series. I played it in the series. But it's not a mainline. So I get where you're coming from with the not really thinking it counts. Yeah, no, cleaning, I love the references. It's fair, it's fun enough. But you know. Yeah. Give me just a second. I need to plug something in. Hello, where are you? There you are. Whoa. There we go. Apologies. But yeah, I like cleaning because it's just kind of full of references and stuff like that. Yeah. Cook. This one's a bit difficult. I feel like I'm gonna put it in B tier. It's kind of with Beam as in between A and B tier. Mostly because, let's face it, it's very good. It's a very good ability, for healing, but it's a one-time use. It is only one-time use. Chef Kawasaki, on the other hand, would go into S tier. But because we're doing Kirby abilities, yeah, I'm putting it in B tier. Copy. This one is an interesting case. I'm gonna put it at the end of B tier. Solely because the game it came from, Kirby Superstar, its multiplayer made Copy a good ability, right? Because essentially what that allowed you to do is it allowed you to have the copy ability, make your helper, or your second player, have the copy ability, and they could choose the ability they wanted. So in that sense, it's really good. But as for Kirby having it, what's the point? It's just base Kirby. Crash. This... A tier. High A tier. One-shots everything. Just overall, just... It's Crash. What can I say about Crash? You're a literal fucking nuke. Cupid. I'm gonna put it... B tier. It's a weaker archer, I guess. Yes, you can fly, but Kirby can fly anyway. I don't know. There's not much to it. I don't know. Cutter. Putting it in C tier. It's a good ability, but, you know, if you need something sharp, get sword. If you need something with range, get archer or ranger or fire or bombs. It's a good ability, but I feel like it's just a combination of a lot of stuff that other abilities have. Yeah, no, this is a very difficult tier list for me to make because I love most of these abilities. Cutter, I used Cutter all the time. Do I think it's as good as Animal? No, I don't. I would choose Animal over Cutter. Cutter is in more games, but I would choose Animal over Cutter, essentially. That's just how it is. Doctor, I'm gonna speedrun a bit of these. Doctor, low C tier. Drill, I'm gonna put that with Animal because it's essentially the same. ESP, putting up an S tier. I love ESP as an ability. I don't know. Festival, putting it with Crash, putting it above Crash because it's essentially... It's Crash, but with a little dance. That's all it is. Fighter. It's iconic. I'm gonna put it B tier. It's iconic. But it's sumo. It's another version of sumo. That's all there is to it. Fire. A tier. Yeah. I mean, it's just A tier, in my opinion. I wouldn't call it phenomenal, but it is very useful in a lot of cases. Especially when we get into, say, like, Dragon Fire in Forgotten Land, then it's really good and stuff like that. But just base Fire, it's decent. It's pretty good. I wouldn't call it absolutely phenomenal. Like, here's kind of how I'm organizing it, right? S tier, abilities I would choose over anything else. A tier, phenomenal abilities that take up a lot of playtime for me. B tier, good abilities, but I have other stuff I'd prefer to use for just about every occasion. C tier, decent, I'd use them in a pinch, but wouldn't be my first choice. D tier, require very specific conditions for me to use them. F tier, I'd prefer not to use them at all. That's how I'm organizing it. I am going to get rid of this row because I've used all of the abilities. Flare. We're getting into super abilities. C tier. Flare specifically. As a super ability, Flare is a very not great ability. Because let's face it, it's ESP, but you can only use it in specific sections of levels. That, and it's just incredibly annoying to control. Oh yeah, no, Yo-Yo is the last one, so you have a while to wait, Oaklium. Freeze, that's the same situation as Burning. Ghost. I want Ghost to come back. Specifically, I want... I want them to rework Ghost. Ghost was a really interesting concept. But it just does not feel great as an ability the way it is. I want them to redo it. Grand Hammer. I feel like I'm going to put a lot of the super abilities into C tier. Because you can only use them for very specific parts of levels, and they're made for specific things. Hammer. S tier. It's just an incredibly powerful attack. That, and I am always big fan of Beak Hammer. High Jump. Requires very specific instances. Hypernova. Putting that C tier. Just like with the super abilities. Ice, putting it with Fire. It's the same sort of scenario where, like, it's good. It's good. Jet. Good for movement. But I'm gonna put it in B tier. I don't think it's super powerful on its own. So I'm not really too into it. If we're getting into movement abilities, I would much prefer Wheel. Landia. So this is Return to Dreamland when you're fighting before you fight Maglor, when you're fighting the Lore Star Cutter, this and, do they not have it on here? Yeah, no, I'm not seeing it. Oh, there it is. Starship. Landia and Starship are essentially the same thing. Oops. C tier. Again, very specific conditions. They're fun to use. Laser. I'm putting that in C tier as well. I'm putting it up above Beetle, though. Actually, no. I'm actually gonna put it in D tier. Because I only really used Laser when you needed to for a puzzle. That's really the only time I used Laser. Because Laser bounces off walls, you were able to do stuff with that. But overall, the ability is kind of eh, in my opinion. Leaf. Leaf's going in D tier. Or, C tier. It's good, but you can really only attack things above you. What is this ability? It starts with an L. I'm gonna find out what this one is called. Light. What was Light in? Okay, it was just in Kirby's Adventure. Okay. That would be why. Overall, very specific conditions. Again, you used it to light up the room. That was it. The Love Stick. You used it to face Zero. Right, that one was Zero? Let's see, that was Adventure. The Rainbow... No, the Rainbow Sword was, 3. So the Love Stick was against, yeah, the Love Stick was against, Dark Matter Swordsman. See? It's just like Landia, essentially. Magic. I don't remember much about the magic ability. I'll be completely honest, I didn't use it too much. It was a decent enough ability, but I felt like there wasn't really that much variance. So I'm gonna put both of them in C tier. Master. This was, Master was, Amazing Mirror post-game. It essentially allowed you to use any, like, it allowed you to solve any puzzle with, ability-related puzzles. Like, it knocked, pegs in, like the hammer. It electrified areas like, shock. It, caught things on fire like fire. So, from that sense, it's just a really good ability. But it was only in the one game. Metal. Low C tier. Like, let's face it. Metal as an ability, just, you're very slow. Sure, you're invincible, but you're just very slow. Mike. It's essentially 3 crashes. Mini. Great in concept. But there's really not use for it. The only thing it was is it allowed you to get into small areas in Amazing Mirror. That's it. Mirror, I am going to put low A tier. I really enjoy Mirror. I think it's a lot of fun. I wish they went back to using essentially Marx's hat for Mirror, but you know, that's whatever. I just enjoy how Mirror works. Its movement, I feel like, is very clean. Missile, high B tier. Very great to move around with, but its combat abilities are fairly lacking. Again, super ability. I'm putting that in C tier. Mouthful modes. Just all the mouthful modes. I'm putting Arch in A tier. I very much so enjoy Arch. I love flying sections in video games. Absolutely love them. They're just kind of my thing. Big Rig. Also gonna put an A. Huge final push kind of scenario. Yeah, that's just how it is. Car, A tier. I love driving around. It's a lot of fun. Driving sections in Forgotten Land were just fun. You could race. You got times for a lot of them. Let me get a drink real quick. Yeah, and fun fact, Kirby is driving with his tongue. But yeah, no. A car is a lot of fun. I like driving around. It's why I like Air Ride. It's why I like Mario Kart as a series. I like driving around. So the car mouthful mode kind of fit that perfectly. There's not much else to it other than I just enjoy it. I don't know. That's just how it is. I'm gonna wait for the ad to finish on Twitch. Oh, by the way, I made this playlist, specifically for today. It goes through all of the, different games, most of them anyway, and takes a couple tracks from each, to kind of fill up about 2 hours of time. Right now we're in Rainbow Curse. So what I did is I tried to grab the first level in the boss fight of most games. At the start anyway. But I went through and got a couple from each game in order. And then at the end I put a lot of the big boss fights as like kind of an ending thing. So anyway, Coaster. It's decent, but I'm putting it C tier. Because let's face it, that's very much so like the super abilities in Return to Dreamland. Cone, B tier. It's funny to look at. Dome, D tier. I mean, I know you use it in the final boss, but like, realistically, it's not a good ability. Actually, I'll put it in F tier. Not because it's like bad, but like, let's face it, you could pop the top off the stuff anyway. Light Bulb, that's going with light, the light ability. It's just bad. This one, Pipe, C tier. Ring, low B tier. Scissor lift, C tier. Storage, C tier. Vending machine, we'll put B tier. Water balloon, I'm putting A tier. I don't care what you tell me, water balloon is A tier. It's so much, like, just inflate into a giant water balloon and just spray over everything. Needle. I did not care for Needle as an ability until Forgotten Land. Even then, I don't care for it too much. But Forgotten Land did save Needle for me, so I'm putting it in C tier. So. Originally, you just kind of stuck in place and, like, shot out spikes. That's all it was. Now you're able to actually, like, roll around and do Katamari Damacy. I think that's what it's called. With it, but, you know. Ninja. A tier. It's one of my favorite abilities when I don't have the few options that I would put in S tier. What's the difference between paint and artist? Oh, paint was a one-time screen clearing. Interesting. So I guess I'll put that with the crushes, which are all A tier because let's face it, it's a screen wipe. Parasol, I'm putting in S tier. Fucking hell. I will say, I slept on Parasol. Very much so slept on Parasol for a long time. It wasn't until I started playing these games for the series that I started to appreciate Parasol as an ability. Like, there's a lot of things that Parasol does that just protects you passively. You hold the Parasol over your head at all times, so something falling on you won't damage you. You can swing it like a sword. You can block with it like how Ninja has that block. Like, there's a lot of stuff that you can do with Parasol. I just slept on it because it was a basic ability. Plasma and Spark are the same thing, essentially. From my knowledge. So I'm gonna do the two of them together. I'm gonna put them in A tier. Above Archer. Like, I enjoy them. I enjoy playing them. But the fact that you have to move around to charge it up is a bit annoying. I will say that much. It's a bit annoying to kind of have to charge up. Poison. B tier. Gonna put it there. The poison clouds are nice, but let's face it, it's mostly only useful in wind sections where there's a puzzle relating to it. Granted, it's still a good ability for normal combat because of its other abilities, but its main concept is really only for wind sections. Rainbow Sword. I am putting that with the Love Stick. Because let's face it, it's the same thing. Ranger, I'm putting up with Archer. It's the 3D Archer, essentially. Ribbon and the Crystal Shards. I'm gonna put that A tier as well. I am gonna put that, after, cleaning. Just because that one, it's fun to use because it was a 3D space shooter. I just found it fun. And I'm going to skip to Robobot Halberd and say that it's the same thing. Actually, no, I'm putting that S tier. It's the same thing, but I like the Halberd. I like that fight better. So I'm putting that in S tier. That is a very specific S tier that relates to my enjoyments and characters and design. Robobot Armor. I'm putting that in A tier. I've really enjoyed Robobot mechanics. Final, I'm gonna put that with the other super abilities and stuff. Just because it also feels... Speaking of Robobot, this was the Robobot music for when you got into the bot. The final is very specific to that final fight. It's... Ultimately, that was the button spam. That was the button spam ability. That's all it was. Sleep. This is something that is very difficult to categorize. 99% of the games, sleep was an obstacle ability. They would put things that gave you sleep into an area where it was easy to get crushed or to fall. In Forgotten Land, they gave sleep the ability to heal you, which made it good in very specific scenarios. So, I'm gonna put it in C tier. Because overall, you could still just eat food, but it's now helpful in some scenarios. Smash. S tier. 100%. If Smash is an ability I can take, I'm going to take it. Actually, so far, this is the order that I would... I've been trying to keep these in order, by the way. I've been trying to keep them in some relevant order in the actual things. The only one where it really matters is, I think, S tier and somewhat A tier. Snowball, I'm putting that with the other super abilities. Spear is fun. I'm gonna put that A tier. I'll put it above fire. Spider and high C, roughly. Staff, low B. Star Ally Sparkler, I'm gonna put that with Ribbon and Crystal. Like mid A tier. Just because that last fight with that 3D section in Star Allies is a lot of fun, in my opinion. As well as Starrod, that going with the Love Stick and the Rainbow Sword. It's a lot more iconic, but again, it's essentially the exact same thing. Starship, putting that with Landia, because it's essentially the same thing. Stone, I'm putting that A tier. Low A tier, though. Just because it's fun to use. I don't know. It's simple, but it's just kind of fun to use, and it gives you invincibility. I remember when I first played Superstar Ultra and I beat DDD in the Spring Breeze, I always used Stone. Because it gave you invincibility when you were in the ability. So I like that one, but it's not as versatile as a lot of these other ones. Sumo. Putting it with Backdrop. It's essentially the same thing. Sword. High A tier. I'm putting it above Ninja. Outside of the very gimmicky, like, clear everything and, stuff, A tiers, Sword I think is best. Sword is the ability that kind of fits between S and A tier for me. I will choose it over just about everything, but there are the few exceptions that I would not, go over. Throw. Backdrop and Throw combined to make Sumo. Tornado. I am gonna put this in B tier. I don't care for it all that much. It falls under the same kind of nature as, like, it's a decent ability. It uses a lot of movement, but I feel like it's still a bit too sporadic for my enjoyment. Like, it's a good ability, don't get me wrong, I use it from time to time. But I'd rather not if I don't have to. Especially early games. Early games, Tornado just kinda sucked. Triple Star, put that with the Star Rod and Love Stick and stuff. UFO. UFO, I used all the fucking time when I first played Planet Robobot. I am going to put this low-ish A tier. It is a flying beam attack. I get it. So, yes, I am separating UFO and beam by tier, but that's beside the point. It's a flying beam attack. And you don't get tired in the air. Ultra Sword. Super ability. Water. If nothing else but for branding, I'm putting that in A tier. Although, to be fair, Kirby Fighters 2, water saved that run. I am going to put it above Spark. Actually, no, above Bell. We'll put it above Bell. It's fun, but it would not be my first choice of ability in really any given scenario. Because there's a lot of times where the water ability is available. One of these is available. Wheel. S tier. I hope Wheel comes back. Yeah, it's a good reminder.
Drink water, you dehydrated bitch.
Yeah, make sure you drink water as well, everyone. Thank you for the hydration, Azriel. Alright. Wheel, my absolute favorite movement ability. I love it. Just speeding through levels is just too much fun. Whip. I'm gonna put this in B tier. I'm gonna put it above Animal, but I'm gonna put it in B tier. I don't care for the ability itself. It can be fun to use, but I don't necessarily care for it all that much. I'll use it, but yeah. Wing. Same sort of scenario. I'd put it underneath Jet. You fly around and you shoot little tiny projectiles. It's used in the gourmet race speedrun though. So I've gotten pretty used to wing as an ability. But I would likely not use it if I was given the option. Wrestler. I will say I didn't use Wrestler. It is the only ability that I didn't use. I don't know where to put this. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's just Sumo. But in the game that it was in, it was really good. So I'm going to put it low C tier. And now, Yo-Yo. Out of all of the abilities in every game, the only thing that tops it to me is Smash. In any given game, Yo-Yo is my favorite ability. Smash is an ability that's hidden away. You never really get Smash other than in Amazing Mirror when you defeat Master Hand and Crazy Hand. And then in the Howl Rooms. Those are the only times you get Smash. Yo-Yo is my favorite ability that you get from normal enemies. So, there you go. This is my Kirby ability tier list. Granted, I sped through quite a lot of them. I sped through quite a lot of them, so I didn't, like, explain my thought process. A lot of the super abilities and gimmicks I put in the same tier as C tier, because it was very situational sort of thing. But yeah, no. Out of all of these, if I were given the option out of any ability to use, Yo-Yo would be it after Smash. Then Bomb, ESP, Hammer, Wheel, Parasol, and then the Halberd. Because just the Halberd, it's a gimmick thing. The Halberd was a gimmick thing, so you can't really say, oh, if I was given any ability, I would choose the Halberd. But I just really liked that. So, alright. So, I will say, I am not done yet for today. There are a few things I want to talk about that aren't tier listing things. Specifically, I want to talk about music and boss fights. So, let me... My YouTube chat doesn't... Wait, no, it's my Twitch chat. My Twitch chat isn't working. What the hell? Huh. Give me a second while I figure this out. Why did this have to be today? Oh, there it is. Never mind. Yeah, no. So a few big things I want to kind of talk about. I sent myself a message. That's why I'm not showing my screen just yet. I'm gonna put this into a notepad. Give me just a second. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da. All right. I think that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, okay. Bink. I am big again. Yay. Alright. Just real quick, I want to go over some of these. Some of my favorites and stuff like that. I don't really have a least favorite soundtrack or anything like that. Least favorite. Let me add some of these. Favorite overall game. Least favorite boss fight. Alright. So just a few, like, base series sorts of things. Well, I'm meaning final boss. I'm meaning final boss out of these, not, you know. So, I'm gonna run through this, and kind of talk about, some of the things. My favorite story. This is my, in terms of Kirby, what my favorite story out of a game was. So, for example, if it were, Kirby Planet Robobot, it would be the story of the Hubman Works Company and, Kirby's journey to stop the Hubman Works Company. If it was Triple Deluxe, it would be the story relating to the Dreamstalk and Sectonia. That is what I mean by my favorite story. In this case, my favorite story is, going to be, Forgotten Land. I think Forgotten Land is the best story, the best told story out of all of them. Just because it's one of those things where... Damn, that was a weird cutoff. It's just one of those things where it's fun. The story is great. Because you're trying to collect captured Waddle Dees, and try and, stop the, Big Bad from taking Elfalin. Alright, my favorite final boss fight in a game. This is the final boss fight The actual fight. Just the fight. This will be essentially, what is the boss that I enjoyed fighting the most? Void Termina. I think Star Allies has my favorite boss fight in the entire series. Fecto Alphalus for you. Yeah, no, Fecto Alphalus is definitely a close second. I just enjoyed Void Termina's fight more. Let me skip ahead for a second. Favorite final boss theme. This one right here. Oh, man. Yeah, no, this right now that's playing is my favorite final boss theme in the entire series. So I love this track, stuff like that. It was just relevant because it played. Going back to Void Termina, specifically, the Soul Melter EX Void Termina fight is my favorite. Yeah, no, I will say it takes a long time. But one of my favorite moments from playing Kirby in my life, because this is not something that I experienced playing it live through the series. After playing Boss Rush so often, yeah. I will say, one of my favorite moments in the series, doing the Soul Melter EX in Star Allies, and just when you enter for the first time and the controller vibrates, mimicking a heartbeat. That is one of my favorite moments I've ever experienced playing any game. That shocked me so much, and it literally just like, holy fuck, it feels like I'm holding a beating heart in my hands. Like, it just felt so strange, but it was so cool. Anyway, my least favorite boss fight. I don't know. I won't say Mass Attack. As much as I want to, I won't say Mass Attack because I haven't experienced that one properly. And I'm talking like final boss fight. Like final boss sort of thing. I think I'm gonna give it to Nightmare. Because of the precision needed to start that fight. Because I think Nightmare is my least favorite because of that precision. But I would also say Dark Mind from Amazing Mirror. Again, that one I feel like might be related to the fact that I was playing it alone as compared to with 4 people, so I was kind of stuck fighting against Dark Mind on my own because the CPUs would die before you got to that phase. But I liked the Dark Nebula fight. It was really easy. That is my only issue with it. That fight was really easy. That's the only issue I had. My favorite character in the series. I talk about this a lot. I love Meta Knight as a character. One of my favorite parts about Meta Knight is how honorable he is as a character. Like, you know, a lot of these characters, they challenge you. And they say, hey, I'm gonna beat you. Meta Knight says, you're powerful, you've beaten me countless times, but here, I'm still gonna give you even footing. I am going to give you a sword so that you're not fighting without a weapon. We will fight sword on sword. Which is why I always feel like whenever I fight Meta Knight in a game, it needs to be with the sword ability. Because there's that sense of honor there, of having even footing, being on even ground. That, and one of my favorite things is the whole concept of Meta Knight's theme, right? Meta Knight's theme in a lot of like the later games, Sword of the Surviving Guardian or whatever, Sword of the Lone Guardian, that directly takes My Friend in the Setting Sun and turns it into his actual theme. My Friend in the Setting Sun was the credits to Revenge of the Meta Knight. That was his loss theme, and he turned it into his main theme, which I fucking love the implications of. He took that loss and went with it and said, I am going to use this to fuel my victory. I'm going to use this defeat and push me with it. So, absolutely love that. Least favorite character. Alright, everyone, say it with me. Fuck Kine. I cannot with Kine. The amount of times that you needed to use Kine to get a rainbow drop. That you had to take Kine through a non-water level. Just to get to... I fucking hated it so fucking much. Going forward, my favorite gimmick in the series. I don't know, this one's actually kind of difficult. I want to say, Kirby 64. I really liked being able to combine abilities. I thought that was really cool. I'd love for them to bring that back somehow. Yeah. Like, combining different abilities and getting something unique. I thought that was a really cool concept, and I would love for them to do something like that in the future. Like, combine that with the bubble ability from Squeak Squad. You use the bubble ability to take and not use an ability, and then you can combine it with another ability later on, and get some superpowered ability. I think that would be awesome. My favorite minigame? Samurai Kirby. The quick time event. I really liked the quick time event minigame. That's all there is to it. My favorite track in the series, I mention this all the time. My Friend in the Setting Sun. It's my favorite track in the series. I just love it. I use it all the time as like an ending credits thing. Anytime it was relevant. But, my favorite OST. So, for clarification on this one is, my favorite soundtrack. Entire soundtrack. So take an entire game soundtrack, what is my favorite? This one's also Kirby 64. I feel like Kirby 64's soundtrack is just really good. I feel like the sound font really fits with what Kirby as a series is. I feel like it works really well. It's just overall my favorite soundtrack. Yeah, it's so atmospheric. Like, it's so good at just... Fucking, I'm not... Yes, I want to continue watching. This is music, not fucking... Anyway. Kirby 64 was just so good at setting an atmosphere and making things fit. My favorite non-final boss theme. This is going to be a long one, but... Battle with an Enormous Boss. This was Kirby Superstar. I'm actually going to grab this track real quick to show. Alright. This is Battle with an Enormous Boss. Yeah. Anyway, that's my favorite non-final boss theme. So, essentially that was, we took the final boss theme with Crowned, the non-final boss theme. So it's a boss theme that's not from the final boss. That's what that was. Alright, now we're getting to these two, just overall games. My favorite overall game has got to be, Planet Robobot. Which, you'll notice, is a bit odd. I talked about my favorite story, my favorite final boss, my favorite soundtrack. Kirby Planet Robobot was none of those. So why is Kirby Planet Robobot your favorite overall game? Let me explain. I think Kirby in the Forgotten Land had the best story. However, I feel like Kirby Planet Robobot's gimmick was a lot better. My favorite final boss fight was Void Termina. I really liked Star Dream. And I feel like the actual gameplay, a lot of the levels in Kirby Planet Robobot were better. My favorite gimmick was Kirby 64. I feel like Kirby Planet Robobot's story was much better. My favorite track and soundtrack, Superstar and Kirby 64. I feel like Planet Robobot's Planet Robobot did everything well. I wouldn't call it the best in any given category, but I feel like it does things better in ways than the games that I give the best in given categories. So overall, I think Planet Robobot is the best. But I wouldn't call anything in Planet Robobot the best. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to people? Because I will say that, like, it's very awkward to kind of explain. Like, how can your favorite game not be something that does things really well, right? Like, I think, for example, Kirby Planet Robobot. If we take each of these, categories and talk about it in relation to Kirby Planet Robobot, Planet Robobot is my second favorite story. Planet Robobot is my third favorite boss fight. Planet Robobot is my second favorite gimmick. Planet Robobot is my second favorite OST. Planet Robobot has my second favorite final boss theme. However, if we take any of the other ones, let's say Kirby and the Forgotten Land, third favorite final boss theme. Second favorite final boss. But probably fourth favorite soundtrack. So like, while each of these other games, like Kirby 64 and Forgotten Land, have a specific thing that I feel like it did much better than others, than everything else, I feel like Kirby Planet Robobot is consistently in my top 3. In, like, across the board. So that's why Planet Robobot is my favorite game, despite the fact it's not in any of these other categories. Least favorite game? I think that one's fairly obvious. Either that or either of the, drawing games. Like, that being Rainbow Curse and Canvas Curse, just because the mechanics of those I don't like. Mass Attack, just the whole issue with getting the rainbow medals is complete ass. But, you know, that is what it is. So yeah, this has been quite a long journey. Honestly, hello Andy, welcome in. Unfortunately, I'm gonna be ending in about 20 minutes. How much longer do I have in this playlist? Let's see, we've got about 14. Yeah, we've got about 20 minutes left. In this stream, unfortunately. But yeah, no. One more thing I'm gonna show off while we're here. Hi. This is my playlist of playing every Kirby game. This was day 1. Way back. November 29th of 2023. Back before I even started streaming on YouTube. This was the stream that I played Kirby's Adventure in and had to deal with that crash. And then, yeah, just from there. This was on my depreciated VOD channel. Like, this all the way back in November is when I started this series. Now, let me scroll. That's a lot. Each one of these streams is roughly 4 hours long. There are a few that are shorter. For example, Kirby Fighters 2 had a 3-hour stream. The second half of Rainbow Curse had a 2.5-hour stream because my internet went out. Going back even further, Meta Nightmare Ultra and Revenge of the King from Superstar Ultra were 2.5 hours. But you got quite a few that were longer. You got Mass Attack's first one being 4 hours and 10 minutes. You had a 4-hour and 10-minute early spin-offs. 4.5-hour Kirby Dream Land 2 and Kirby Adventure. And then just recently, Kirby Fighters 2 had a 4.5-hour stream. There is a shit ton of... there's a shit ton of just me playing Kirby in the last 6 months. It's absolutely insane. We played every last one of these. Every last one of these. I struggle to believe that I actually pulled this off. Like, I love Kirby. It is no secret that I love Kirby. So the fact that this all came together and I was able to sit and play everything, and that you guys all stuck around for it. Like, I barely believe that I managed to pull this off. But here we are. Day 39 of playing every game in the Kirby series. Yeah, no, why did that do that? I don't know. I wanted this to stay open, thank you. Like, this is absolutely insane. Actually thinking about it, I played, let's see, 39, it's 9, 4, 36, 36, and 120, 156, around 156 hours. 156 hours of Kirby. Not even including me playing games previously on stream. Not including the 5 days of Kirby Star Allies when I first got the game. The playing through that when I decided I wanted to play all the games. Playing Forgotten Land when it first came out live. In front of just about no one. Not including those. 156 hours in 6 months. Roughly. Roughly, of course. It's probably around 152, but I'm not gonna deal with that too much. The fact that I was able to do this, like, one of the things about doing this, right? I always knew what I was going to do for the week. I didn't have to worry about what I was doing, because I knew Kirby was going to happen. I knew I was going to play Kirby. Now I'm gonna have to decide what I'm doing each day. Oh, come on. I want that to stay open, please. Like... I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my time now. It started back in November. It started by me... Every day I was playing Kirby. I wanted to play through it straight through until I had no other games to play. I got so burnt out. So quickly. I played through Air Ride. So I played Dreamland Adventure, Dreamland 2, Superstar, Dreamland 364, and Air Ride. And then I'm like, I need a break. So I called a break for about a month. Played Amazing Mirror. And decided 2 days a week. I'm going to take 2 out of the 5 days a week and play Kirby. And so that's what I've done. For another 4 months after. Until just last week, when I spent all week playing Kirby to finish it up. And so now, half a year later, I'm out of Kirby games to play. So, where do we go from here? Right? What is the plan? I don't know. All I know is I'm going to take a break from Kirby. I have played so much Kirby. I have probably played more Kirby in the last 6 months than some people have played in their lives. Proper playthrough of Amazing Mirror? Yes. I will see if I can get people together and stream Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. I want to also do challenge runs. I want to do a challenge run of Kirby and the Forgotten Land where I do it without using an ability. I'm probably going to at some point pick back up Return to Dreamland Deluxe and 100% that game. I am going to do 100% of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Finish that up. I want to do a lot of that sort of stuff. But I need a break. I need a break from Kirby. Not necessarily a long one. But I think what I'm going to do is I am going to put a pause on Kirby until July. I'm gonna take a month break, a month and a half, of not playing Kirby. I want to figure out other stuff to do. So, honestly, I'm gonna be playing Poker Rogue in the near future. I'm not gonna do that today. I'm gonna call it after the Kirby stuff is done. I'm gonna be playing Splatoon. I'm gonna be playing Mario Kart. But I don't know what I'm gonna do on any given day. Unfortunately, because my PC can't handle streaming super well now, I have to stick with how things go on my Switch and some very low quality games. Like, I would love to play Borderlands on stream. I can't do that. My PC can barely stream videos. I'm not gonna be able to stream Borderlands, unfortunately. But I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure out what games to play. And we're gonna see where it goes from here. Just so I can reorganize my desktop without having to worry about it. There we go. I have completed Kirby, yes. I may at some point in the future. In the very distant future. Yeah, no, my full model... Yeah. It's not my official design, so it's not... You know. It's not fully my character. But... You know. At some point in the future, I may go through it and I may say screw it and get through Mass Attack and finally do that final boss on my own. I don't want to, but I might in the future. Just to say I've done it. But I have a lot of things I want to do with the Kirby series, right? I want to do boss rushes. I want to go through and I want to do the arenas of every game that has them. The hardest arenas. I want to go through, I want to do a challenge run. Where I play through a bunch of the games without using an ability. Granted, not all of them. That, who? But like, going through Forgotten Land without an ability. Going through Planet Robobot without an ability. Going through Return to Dreamland without an ability. I think those big three. Star Eyes you can't really do without an ability because of needing friends and stuff like that. But I might go through. I want to replay 64 a bit. I want to go through. I want to try speedrunning some of the stuff as well, because I think that could be fun. But you know, it's all for the future. I need a break from Kirby. Because yeah, 156 hours is a lot. Especially in a half a year time frame. So. We're kind of coming up on the end of this. The big finale. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. Thank you for coming on this journey with me and Kirby. The cute, wholesome bean that he is. So, as we finish up, this has been a lot of fun. Who knows? I may do it again in the future. I doubt it, but I might. This is one of those things where this series has shaped my content. 100%. Yeah, you are here for the tail end of it. I did this for so long that when I look back on my growth as a streamer, this is going to be a big part of it. This series right here. Because I know about half the people who come by these days came by while I was playing Kirby. Which Kirby game depends on who it is. But Oaklium, you came. I'm pretty sure you came by during a Kirby stream. No, you came by during Mario Kart, didn't you? But like, I know there's a lot of people who came by for while I was playing Kirby. So, it's certainly one of those things where this has been huge for me. I don't think I'm gonna forget this experience anytime soon. Because this has been... Oh, it was Pokemon X first. Okay. Interesting. The more you know. I still need to finish that, but either way. I think that's it for me. I think that's it for me and Kirby. So thank you, everybody, so much for coming by. Hope you all have a wonderful time zone. Make sure you take care of yourself, drink some water, get some rest, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time. Poyo.